Thank you very much. Thank you, Melville. Thank you all. And good night, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, Dulahin. The political leader, the Honorable Kamla Prasad Bisesa, leader of the opposition, member of parliament for Paria, parliamentary colleagues, the Honorable Dave Tanku, member of parliament from Oropouche West, the Honorable Lakram Bodo, member of parliament for Paria, for Faizabad, the neighbor of the boss lady. The member of parliament for Princessong is here, Mr. Barry Padarat. The member of parliament for Couva South, because if I say north, Couva South is here, Rudranath Indar Singh. Other members of parliament, Senator, the Honorable Deputy Political Leader. Give a round of applause to Ms. Jerlene John. Chairman, Mayor, His Worship Mayor Meru, of course. Councillors, aldermen, members of the local government fraternity, brothers and sisters assembled at the Penal Presbyterian School, brothers and sisters listening on the various social media platforms. The Honorable Rishi Sicharan is here as well from Caroni East. Welcome. Members of the NATEX, brothers and sisters all. Tonight we meet in a season of giving. But for the bandits in this country, this is a season of taking. So that we live at a time of great fear, insecurity, and as Brother Tanku has said, this man has embarked on his karmic sleep. We don't know if he inside, he outside, or he between the door. That is correct, and it's not Miami. So we don't know where he is. You don't hear from the Minister of National Security anymore. You don't see him. The country is without a government. The Prime Minister has taken off. He has gone with Passepartout around the world in 80 days. He gone back to London on a very curious trip. That trip he announced before. He went to Saudi Arabia and then came back because they deposited him in Barbados like a garbage bag. He comes back now and spends a couple days in Trinidad, change his clothes, and he going back now to London. And the Prime Minister of this country cannot tell us what he's going there to do as Prime Minister. He cannot say. He's not going there to conduct any business. I suspect this man is going for Christmas shopping or something like that. And using taxpayers' money. But he has coined an interesting phrase. I take note of these things. Over the years, we often, the population, often attack politicians and leaders in particular when they travel the whole world. Every government, it'll be the same thing. They're traveling all over, man, spending taxpayers' money because it is a lot of taxpayers' money. These people travel first class. They eat the best, they drink the best, they take security. They go and party all over the place. So Rowley say now, he said, well, I have to travel because, you know, I have to go where the power is, where the dealers are, where the deals are made, where you have the important people of the world. Well, why you don't stay there? If them is the important people in the world, the important people are the people of Trinidad and Tobago. Those are the important people. And Rowley is in London parading himself to witness the signing of some agreement or memorandum or something like that. One is not even sure if that has legal force. He going to witness, you know. But you could have witnessed over the TV screen from Trinidad and save us what could be $1 million of travel. Keith Rowley has abandoned this country, and this country must now abandon Keith Rowley. That is the point. Brothers and sisters, over the last few days, I'm sure some of you have seen in the newspaper a story about Penal, our beloved neighborhood where we assemble today, the salt of the earth. This part of the country, Penal, Debe, South Trinidad, has produced some of the most brilliant people, led by the Honorable Kamla Prasad Bisesa, but many others as well. They have worked hard, toiled in the fields, toiled in agriculture and manufacturing and services, produced the best of the best. It was our vision, you will recall, brothers and sisters, to create an education center and Penal, Clark Road. Do you know we started that education center with the Parvati girls and the Shiva boys? It was 90% completed. A school, 2 schools, also an administrative complex. Well, we come into that now. Today, when you look, Daily Express is sprawling complex wrapped around by bushes. Bushes. They have this thing now at that place. That was supposed to be the educational point of gravity for South Trinidad to create the human capital, to push our country forward. You need human capital, not just mineral resources. You need human beings. And that center was meant for that. Also to create jobs, to create, an education center, something like what St. Augustine is in the East-West Corridor, with the schools, the university, and so on. Today, it is overrun by bush. It have Karai vine running there along the school. 2 vagrants sleeping there, and cow and goat and things just go to graze. That is the PNM. That is what they do there. By the UE, we built a University of the West Indies South Campus, brothers and sisters. You know what is that? Nothing is happening there. That campus is bigger than some of the universities in the whole Caribbean at Debe. They will not open it. We wanted to put the law school. They will change the name. They change everything about 25 times. Now they say it's an offshore medical complex. Well, we'll believe that when we see that. When you see it, you will believe it. But they will not open it because they do not want to open industry, open education centers. They punish children. The Ramaitres Hindu school nearby here, I have been clamoring to open that school for how long now? Anybody who see me in Parliament, the first question on every order paper, every session is, when you go open the Ramaitres Hindu school? Every year. I come with the same thing. I don't waste time. From the time the president make a statement and the Parliament open, my file the question. Well, now they are telling us on December 11th, they're going to open the school. Now, it's only the PNM government could open a school when all school closed. Only the PNM could open a school when all school closed. They will open the school December 11th. I mean, what is wrong with these people? What is wrong? So this is this is what they have done in these areas, to discriminate against the people, to leave them out of development. Brothers and sisters, over the last few years, we have had the last 8 years in particular, coming up to their 9th year. These are lost years of development. Sometimes I meet foreigners, and foreigners tell me, they say, Rudy, how did the PNM do it? I say, how you mean? I didn't know they do anything, Anil Roberts. They say, how did they destroy your country? Ladies and gentlemen, could I invite you to stand and welcome the most illustrious daughter of this soil, the former Prime Minister, the Member of Parliament for Paria, Leader of the Opposition, the Honorable Kamla, the Honorable Kamla Prasad Bisesa, and Dr. Gregory Bisesa.
From all kinds of sources, I don't know, them still can't kill me now. You see, as them sink me on the high flow, ride out the song and just like a boat. So as the box me down, so I get up. They have to wonder how others get up. And every crack I see, I just see through. And by the help of God, others get through. I just won't stop. I feel like hope.
A round of applause to welcome the Honorable Kamla Prasad Bisesa in her hometown. I think we should change the name of this place from Penal to Kamla. Anyway, I don't announce policy. It's not my job to announce policy, Hey, thank you, Melvin. Thank you very much. So, brothers and sisters, I was telling you about the discrimination against the people of these areas. And the PNM doesn't understand that when you discriminate against one center, you discriminate against others. When we created Point Lisas Industrial Estate, it was for everybody to come and work there. When we create a hospital in Couva, it is for people to come to work there from every part of Trinidad. It is not for the people of Couva. When you build administrative complex, the people who will work there is not only people from Pinal or Debe, it is from the whole country will get jobs, create industry. The people of the area will get, a way to uplift themselves. But the PNM doesn't understand that. And Rowley, at a time like this, as I told you, he has become an international loafer. That is what he is now, an international loafer. Just looking to travel this whole world, get all the, what they call these mile marks and so on. Yes, and the per diem from the government. And go all over the world, brothers and sisters, and we must take note of this travel. Frequent flyer miles, they call it, I think. I don't know too much about these things, So, brothers and sisters, there are two issues I want to raise briefly before I leave the stage. And one, the PNM, everything the UNC built and the People's Partnership built is standing today. The cyclodrome, the aquatic institution, the Couva Hospital, the San Fernando Teaching Hospital, the police station, the Homes HDC. Not one HDC house fall down, built by the People's Partnership. No, I have to say that. Because if I don't say that, I'm not saying that. Not one HDC house built by the partnership, Jolene John, ever moved down a hill. Not one house. Today I got information. Now, we were in the parliament on a particular track. For 2-3 years now, we're on that track watching something. I said nothing because I don't like talking unless you know some fact. So I was monitoring in South Trinidad this project in San Fernando called the redevelopment of Skinner Park. I was monitoring that. I said nothing. The contractors, I believe, are from Tobago. I even don't have a problem with that. It is a country called Trinidad and Tobago. Nothing is wrong if a contractor comes from Tobago, they get the job. But nothing is wrong if a contractor comes from Trinidad and get a job in Tobago as well. Nothing is wrong with that. Be careful. So they spent, at first, they told us $147 million for that project. But when we go down there, it's the same Skinner Park gate that they had in 1958. It's the same fence. It's the same lawn tennis court. It's the same everything. No, comment to that now. That's where I'm coming now. So, brothers and sisters, when they said 147, we said, no. Tell us the total. We want total. Because PNM now, they will tell you a cost, but they will slip in later other costs. Then they come and say now it's almost $200 million for Skinner Park redevelopment, which was really for 1 or 2 pavilion. That was not a new place that had infrastructure. It had water, it had electricity, it had drainage all the time. When I was a small boy, I went to see Trinidad and Tobago play an international football match. Leroy Span was the captain. We played international soccer at Skinner Park, San Fernando. Here this one, they built this thing, Rowley gone a few months ago, cut ribbon and thing, open. He's so happy. The people of South Trinidad get Skinner Park. 200 million, gone. Well, here what now? They put the pavilion in the wrong place. In layman terms, I can tell you the technical issue, but in layman terms, they make a mistake. And they put the pavilion in the wrong place. So today, Skinner Park, which we were so proud of, you can't play a football match. You cannot play football in Skinner Park. Otherwise, to take a corner, you have to run out from the toilet. They put the pavilion out of sync with the cycle track and the field. And today, do you know the intercol matches involving presentation that are doing very well this year? They cannot play a college football match in Skinner Park, San Fernando. The secondary school league have told them we can't play there. That's a danger to players and so on. Because when you have to take a run up, you have to leave the field and run up to take a corner. So brothers and sisters, $200 million gone, and they may have to break down the pavilion in Skinner Park. That's the same UDCOT that is doing the central block in Port of Spain. Shanghai gone. They bring in 10 contractors, the 10 gone. They're gone back to China Rail again for that contract. This UDCOT under Noel Garcia is back to their old tricks, Jolene. They are back to their old tricks, Las Alturas. That is what they are. So brothers and sisters, the issue in Skinner Park is that it is out of sync. It's something called specs. The specs are wrong. They went and I mean, again, I cannot blame any contractor that way. I don't know what they were paid to do. But the long and short is you cannot play sport there, the kind of sport that you are accustomed with. And this is the same thing they did with the Brian Lara. You remember the PNM built the Brian Lara? You cannot play an international cricket match in Brian Lara. Everything had to be a FET match. It is only recently spending millions and millions that they can play now limited overs international matches, but not a test match. In fact, Brian Lara is known for his great distinction in test cricket, and you can't play a test match in the Brian Lara Stadium. That is where anything the PNM built. And Jerlyn John told us a few days ago, I was on a good track, always remember it is the UNC, it is the People's Partnership that built Trinidad and Tobago. So don't let nobody fool you. I challenge anybody, find a highway built by the partnership. Find a stretch of road that mash up like the mosquito crack. Like the mosquito crack down here. They boasting, Alwari and others, boasting about the San Fernando waterfront project. Well, let me tell you something. I just have to pass there often to go to a gym and thing. I actually am in a gym. So, you should have seen me if I wasn't. So, I pass there often enough. All they're talking about waterfront development. When you go down, there's 2 stray dogs and a crapo. They try to make a highway, it mash up, so you are still onto a 2-lane road you're driving, not 4-lane and so on. They go by the thing is the same fish market. In 1970 something, I said, carry my mother to buy fish there in the morning. It is the same fish market, the same road, the same everything. A place called Happy Corner. I hope some of you don't know about that place. Still there, brothers and sisters. So, nothing has changed in San Fernando. There's no waterfront project of any kind. And they built now, they give, and I'm not going to call name of contractors because I don't know what they were paid for. They built part of the highway. You know, Brian, all the water started back up on that part of the highway now. The new highway is flooding before it is even open. This is the PNM, and when you look at us, we built the fire stations, Mayaro, Pinal. They don't have a fire tender here, I understand. We built the hospitals, we built the schools, over 100 schools. And I raised the point earlier, using my article here, about what has happened at the education center in Pinal, subject on Sunday, where I tell you, cow and goat grazing, 2 vagrant living there and Karaili vine running. You know the PNM, anytime they have a speech just coming for election, they will come again, apart from the corruption issues and so on. Which is a lot of, I can't say it here, but wrong things. So, they come at OPV. When we were there, we cancelled the OPV. And if we had the OPV, it wouldn't have gone here and crime and thing. You could imagine them managing an OPV? An OPV big like the Queen's Park Savannah. All now duck and chicken would have been hatching on that OPV. They wouldn't have diesel to put there. No manpower. That would have been covered with vine and bush down Shagarama somewhere. Thank God, Mrs. Prasad Bisesa and others decide to cancel that and retrieve, I think, $1 billion of taxpayers' money. Thank God. They cannot manage 6 small Coast Guard boats. They're going to manage OPV. We go in Parliament, we ask signs. We say, out of the 6 boats, how much working? He said, I can't tell you how that is a national security matter. We say, how much not working? He said, I can't tell you that. That's a national security matter. I say, you is a national security matter. That is they cannot fix the boats to patrol our waters, small crafts and so on. They want OPV. I'm talking about OPV. Brothers and sisters, so I told you, we need an investigation into the Skinner Park. $200 million and you can't play schoolboy football in Skinner Park, San Fernando. We built the Manny Ramjan, the Atto Bolden, the Larry Gomes, the Dwight York. As a UNC government did that. They run them thing down. Once it's UNC, they run it down. Scarborough Hospital, we had to finish that project for them. They mess it up. These people, when we get back there in a few months, to clean up their mess is the next big problem, you know. Jerlyn has a famous story in the HDC estate in Pleasantville. You literally had to clean up the mess because they didn't put any sewer plant. And every week I think she had to send in trucks and thing there. That is how they have no vision. I told you last week, these are people, if you give them a parlor, they will bust it in quick time. Brothers and sisters, before I leave my issue, I'd like to raise concern the Paria divers and this report. As you all know, the report of that commission of inquiry has been handed over to the president and the prime minister. The prime minister has absconded. He has gone. He's nowhere to be seen. By the time we see him next, he might have hair on his head. He will be unnoticeable. So he has gone his way. The report is here. Tonight we call upon this government to do not delay. Make this report public immediately. Do not sanitize this report. Do not deduct. Do not take marker and write off people's name and company name. If it is that persons connected to the PNM have been found culpable, let it stand in the public domain. Let us read. And we don't need parliament. They abandoned the parliament too. When the last time you all see it at parliament here? They just pack up the parliament, put a padlock on the Red House, and they go on their way, no? They go on their way. This country is not being governed by the parliament. Rowley gone, parliament shut down. Everything. So brothers and sisters, they don't need parliament to put the report. You can place that report on a website. On a website and make it public. Let the population read. Do not sanitize that. That is a serious matter. And remember, we warned you during that time. In fact, it was the opposition that called for that commission of inquiry. In fact, we should get the report before Rowley. Yeah? We should get the report before Rowley. He didn't want none. So, that has serious implications. The closure of Petrotrin is connected to the death of those divers. When they closed Petrotrin, they sent home all the experienced health and safety men and women who were trained in that area and managed health and safety to prevent such a fatality. The OWTU, one of the most militant and powerful trade union in the Caribbean, police the port. A union don't allow it that way, health and safety, fatalities and problems and so on. Unions don't do that. Part of the job of a trade union is to police health and safety. And the union was very militant as it regards to the port. And today I am telling you that if those things are in the report, I don't know the report. I want report I ain't get yet. But if that is in the report, do not take it out, don't mark it off, don't scratch it off. Call the names of the company, even if they are connected to the People's National Movement. Once they are held accountable, brothers and sisters, tell them do not sanitize that. Brothers and sisters, it is time, when you think of how people die in this way, and this was February 2022, I told you before, persons like myself or the MPs, we were in the car park, a Sunday night I believe it was, and there was an absence of government, of authority. The people's family were in the car park standing up or sitting down on a pier on the ground somewhere. Some of us as MPs, you know, we went and buy food for the families because the government of Trinidad and Tobago could not care to give a cup of coffee, to give a sandwich. We did that. Embarrassing, correct? Not even a tent. They called MPs of the UNC to help in the best way. David Lee is here tonight. He knows this. He was helping there on that occasion. The government was absent. No leadership at all. If we were in power, Kamla Prasad Bisasa would send half the cabinet down there and say, stay there until these people come out here. Recently, you all recall 41 minders or so in India were trapped. The government responded. The government intervened. That government intervened one time, brought in international help as well, and ensured that they saved every single life. This government was absent during that crisis. In fact, this government should be charged for corporate manslaughter. And it is time, maybe we consider an act, we consider legislation for corporate manslaughter, so that you can charge people for their criminal conduct when it leads to death. Industrial death is called. When it leads to death at the place of work. Persons, directors, managers who are the brain, the controlling mind behind something. There's a way they'll describe that in the industrial relations law. You can charge them for manslaughter. Corporate manslaughter legislation is in England since 2007, more or less. In place. We don't have to go far to find, precedent and example and so on, brothers and sisters. But the Attorney General should be doing that. But where he gone now? Anybody know? When the last time will you see him? We haven't seen him in a long while. Not that we want to see him, but we haven't seen him. And while that is happening, I will just, raise a flag, raise a Jandi on a matter. We are being told that a senior executive in the judiciary is now in some type of consultancy work with the Attorney General in the Solicitor General's office. They are doing something, but involved in some way in working with the Attorney General, and is a senior manager in the judiciary. Tonight we asked a question. I don't know. I haven't seen any contract or anything. I've heard whether or not the judiciary is doing that. They ought not to do that. Because you all remember this crisis where the state is losing a lot of cases by default. Default is not, look how brilliant lawyers I have in front of me now. I don't know which one to call. But default is not a judgment, it's not a ruling of the court that way on the merits of a case. It's an administrative issue that you fail to file paper, defense, whatever. But how come a member of the judiciary is now trying to help the Attorney General? That flies in the face of the separation of powers, and also it compromises the integrity of these institutions. And that is something that I leave right there. Other speakers, and on another time, we'll be looking at this issue. We'll raise that issue, I'm sure, in the near future. So brothers and sisters, tonight, as I leave you, I want to indicate that report of the Paria and the Paria divers, the tragedy, must be made public. And we must honor those men who died and the one who is alive but so traumatized, really. We must honor them. We must honor their lives, that they sacrificed their lives in that way. We must honor them. And never forget, don't mind the Commission of Inquiry finish, we must never forget those men. We must never forget, and maybe when we are in office as well, we must appoint up here a roundabout administrative building. The Health and Safety Department should be named in honor of these men. So forever, we will know that the PNM killed them. That the PNM caused the death and tragedy. We must never forget that. You see what happened? The PNM, they want you to forget that tragedy. They want you to forget it. Never forget it. They caused that by their lack of action, lack of will. They cause it. So brothers and sisters, on those matters, those issues I'll raise on the next occasion. I said we have other things. I mean, Brother Tanku here was extremely good in raising those matters of roads and water. And so in our areas, I don't have to tell you. In fact, I don't have to tell you about bad road. You have to tell me. You know more than me which road bad and so on. But we have to repair it. The United National Congress is a party, the People's Partnership. When we are there, we fix things, we do things. We don't complain. We don't cry and moan, we have this, we don't have that. We fix, we got a program and we fix. And we are on the road. We are on the road, as the old Kelvin Ramnath used to say, I can feel it in my bones. I can feel victory in my bones. And it's not arthritis. So, I can feel victory. I can smell victory. We are touching victory. Unite, do not be taken aback by detractors and so on. Last time I said something and everybody will kill me. I said, listen, it have no election in the party. So I am a simple, logical man. If there's no election and people campaigning, that means they have to be delusional. That's what I meant, that not that you're mentally ill necessarily, but if there's no election for leader, but you campaigning, that delusional behavior. And then something else I see, and I promise to God I wouldn't say this, I see some TV show with people in some Mickey Mouse business. If you were the Prime Minister, what you could do about Venezuela? Man, see what you could do about the bridge or the pothole on the side of the road now, man. Try and fix the pothole in front of the road, what you could do with Venezuela and Guyana. I mean, that just remind me, when I saw that, these beauty contests, when we were growing up, sometimes we watch a beauty contest and they ask the girl, if you was president of the United States, what would you do first? And she said, well, we'll solve poverty, we'll do this. As opposed to the girl that actually, what's your favorite dish? She said, satellite. So, brothers and sisters, don't take on this kind of Mickey Mouse business. That's my serious point now. Do not be distracted. Do not be distracted. Be focused. Mobilize, organize, agitate. We have one leader, one party, one vision. and we will form the government of Trinidad and Tobago. We have the human resources. Sometimes we don't see it. Sometimes we don't say it. We have in our parliament men and women, doctors, lawyers, accountants, managers, social community activists, dynamic people, PhDs, educators, hard-working trade unionists. We have the resources to run this country. The PNM don't. This is why whether they reshuffle cabinet or not is a waste of time. It will change nothing. We must not talk about cabinet reshuffle. Get them out, reshuffle them out of the Red House, out of Whitehall, out of the diplomatic center, and return Kamla Prasad Bissessa and the United National Congress. Long live the great people of Pinal Debe. Long live the people of Trinidad and Tobago. And long live our great party of unity, equality, and national justice. Thank you.